Okay, this lesson is on exponents. So if you have the notes printed out, follow along as we go through exponents. So remember, exponents are used to indicate how many times a number is being multiplied by itself. So go ahead and fill this in.
It is Mama.
Multiplied. So looking at our first example here, I'll write it larger. 4 squared. That equals 4 times 4. The most common mistake with exponents, if you haven't reviewed them recently, and even if you have reviewed it recently, sometimes people see the 4 and the 2, and they think 4 times 2 and they'll write 8. I've seen it so many times. Remember, that's not what you're doing. You're taking the base, the 4, and you're multiplying it by itself as many times as you see in the exponent. So we'll start off just practicing writing numbers using exponents. So let's take a large number, maybe 17. Now, a shorter way to write out 17 times 17 times 17 times 17 is to take that number and to count how many times you're multiplying it by itself, 1, 2, 3, 4, and put the 4 in the exponent. We'll do another one.
Do another one.
Alright, so we'll write our base here as being 3, and we'll count how many times we multiply 3 by itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So our exponent here is 8. This is 3 to the 8th power.
Hey, Mom, what's 8? That's very nice.
Okay.
It used to be 7.
Now evaluating exponents here, use your calculator. Okay, number 1, 16 to the 4th power. So on your calculator, you're going to type in the number 16, and then you're going to look for a button that looks like the top of an arrowhead, and then you're going to type in the number 4 and the equal sign. And it'll give you your answer. I'll get my calculator.
Done.
And if your calculator at home, you can't find this button, just email us. Okay, and this is a huge number. And I've seen freshmen in Algebra 1, instead of using this button on their calculator, actually go 16 times 16 equals. And then they'll take that number and they'll multiply it times 16 equals. And they make this a 5-step problem. So be sure that you use your button and you don't try to write this out. Okay, number 2, again, put that in your calculator and see what you get. 8 to the 9th power. I'll put it in mine so we can check your answer. Very large number.
Yeah.
And our last example, which again, is probably going to be a big number. 5 times itself 17 times. Okay, so if you get something like this in your calculator, this is scientific notation, and we'll review that possibly in another lesson. But what this means is 7.6 times 10 to the 11th. So we could actually add 11 zeros here, and that would be our number. So this is the correct way to write it in scientific notation. Okay, let's do something else with exponents. Negative bases. when you get to a number like number 1 here, where our base is a negative number, it's very, very important to pay attention to the parentheses. Cannot stress this enough. So, looking at number 1, negative 4 to the 4th, what this means is negative 4 times negative 4. And a negative times a negative is a positive. So this ends up being a positive 16. Now looking at number 2, we don't see parentheses here. This is different. This is negative on the outside of 4 times 4. So we know 4 times 4 is 16. And this answer is negative 16. Well, this one was a positive 16. So just take a second and look at the difference between number 1 and number 2. Number 1 has the parentheses outside the negative sign, and number 2 does not. Okay? Also, with your calculator, you need to use these parentheses, or your calculator will come up with different numbers. Okay, so number 3, go ahead and put that in your calculator. There is no negative there. That's 243. When you go ahead and you do number 4, just a minute.
The second 3 should be a parenthesis.
Mama, go.
Okay, so when you input this in with the parentheses, you actually have parentheses buttons on your calculator. Make sure you use the parentheses, the negative sign,